Hello, besties. Welcome back. This is Chitar from Asian Girl Diary. So, firstly, I want to add a disclaimer that I'm not a language genius. I only speak two languages: Burmese, which is my native language, and English. But being a non-native speaker of English and as someone who is still working on improving my English skills, I understand the struggles most English learners face when it comes to speaking English. So speaking English is kind of such a big burden for most English learners. So I think as someone who was in the same situation at one point, I think it will be great if I share the secret of how I progress, like from this stage to this stage, or what make a significant difference in overcoming that stage. So in today's video, I'm gonna discuss this topic using three main concepts. The first one, how we learn and become fluent in our native language. The second one, two types of learning: passive learning and active learning. And the third one is the power of perfect practice. And I will conclude this video by addressing the common issues faced by most English learners and providing solutions on how to overcome that stage. So make sure to keep watching this video, and I promise you'll get some fantastic ideas by the end. Okay, so let's get started. So the first part is how we learn and become fluent in our native language. So I want to start with a question. Did you attend any language school to learn your native language? No, we don't necessarily need to go to any language school to learn our native language. We just naturally learn languages from our environment. Like we hear what our parents say, we learn from them, we imitate the sounds, and we try to speak it out. So my mom says I started speaking one or two words at around 18 months and became very talkative at the age of 4. And according to the statement from the National Institute of Health, it says toddlers between 2 to 3 years old start stringing phrases together and speak coherently. And then children between 3 to 4 years old can describe activity, use more complex sentences, and speak more fluently. And then by the age of 4 to 5 years old, children use the chase sentences, tell stories, and can communicate easily with others. So I think it's really great how children learn and improve their language skills at this impressive speed. And I personally believe that there are three main components that enables a child to become a fluent speaker at this impressive speed. So these three components are having enough exposure to acquire the language, having enough opportunity to speak the language, and having enough courage to make mistakes. So as kids learning our native language, we had an environment where we could absorb the language resource, and we had enough environment to utilize the language knowledge, and we had enough motivation to overcome the fear of making mistakes. So have you ever seen a child who doesn't speak because he's afraid of making mistakes? Never. So these are the keys to how we learn and achieve fluency in our native language. So this is the most important point. When it comes to learning a foreign language, we have to keep the facts in mind, and we have to figure out how we can adapt like these concepts to our current learning process. So the second part is two types of learning: passive learning and active learning. So passive learning involves absorbing language materials without actively participating in the learning process. This includes activities such as watching movies, reading books, and listening to podcasts. So passive learning is a really great way to expose ourselves to the language and to immerse ourselves in the natural context. It can help us develop our listening and reading skills. But when it comes to speaking English, passive learning is not a great way anymore. So although passive learning can make us well informed about the language, it's not the best way to improve our output skills, such as speaking and writing skills. So if you want to apply the language effortlessly and comfortably, we have to understand that active learning is an essential need. Okay, so let's talk about active learning. So active learning is a really useful way to get better at the language skills because it lets us put our knowledge into action. But in this case, we have to understand that the way how passive learning works and active learning work is totally different. So why passive learning focuses on absorbing the language, active learning emphasizes the practical application of the language. For example, let's say you want to lose your weight. So you research how to create a diet plan and you watch like instructional videos on yoga. All of the processes are passive learning. But to actually reach your desired weight, you have to actively follow the diet plan and physically engage in yoga. So this process is active learning. So active learning is like training our brain to get used to utilizing and organizing the language material that we have. So whatever it is, the more we practice with the language, the more effortless it becomes for us to use the language. Okay, so let's talk about the power of perfect practice. So the third part is perfect practice give perfect results. So people always say that practice is important, but only a few people point out that doing perfect practice is more important to get the best results. So let's say you go to the gym every day, but if you don't have a skill trainer or if you don't follow the right technique to train your brain, you'll never get the results you want. So similarly, when it comes to learning a foreign language, we have to understand what specific skills we want to improve and we have to understand what learning methods and resources we need to use, and we always need to check out our progress and stagnation in our learning process. I mean, if you want to improve your spoken English, you have to understand what specific parts you want to improve. Maybe pronunciation, intonation, linking sounds, or vocabulary, or anything like that. And then you have to choose the proper learning methods and resources to practice your targeted language skills. So whatever it is, if practice can boost your fluency, perfect practice ensure accuracy, fluency, confidence, and continuous improvement in your learning journey. Okay, so this is the time to wrap up the whole thing, and if you are learning English, I want you to seriously consider 3 main concepts I mentioned about, and ask yourself, do I have enough exposure to acquire the language? Do I have enough opportunity to speak the language, and do I have enough courage to make mistakes? And very legally, nowadays there are so many free resources on the internet and you can create your own environment to acquire the language knowledge, and there are so many free application websites and online English class that you can join to practice your spoken English. And then the most important part is accept making mistakes. So this is the bigger problem most English learners have. And then you have to build a good balance between passive learning and active learning. And the final tip, the most important part is practice properly and consistently. So if you are on the right track, you will definitely get the results you want and you will definitely reach the language goals you want to reach. Okay, so this is time to say goodbye for this week, and I want to say thank you so much for watching this video until the end. And if you think this video is helpful or informative, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell down below not to miss out my weekly content. Okay, so for this week, bye bye.